How is it that so many of our Muslim brothers and sisters are still struggling even to subsist? The problem is partly one of scale. Yes, Islamic social finance is worth a vast amount of money. But the scale of the poverty we speak to combat is vast as well.
He said this in his royal address at the 7th World Conference on Islamic Thought and Civilization.
Royal keynote address delivered by His Royal Highness.
The Light Rail Transit 3 or LRT3 is expected to take passengers in the third quarter of next year. Transport Minister Anthony Loke says the construction of the project now stood at 95.6%, with all the physical work to be completed by October.
Loke said the system integration and testing will take place until early next year, before then proceeding to the testing and commissioning phase, which will last 3 to 4 months. Loke also said the cabinet meeting on July 5th had agreed to reinstate the 5 stations which had been cancelled. These are Tropicana, Tamasha, Raja Muda, Bukit Raja and Bandar Botanic. The 16 billion ringgit LRT3 project, which runs from Klang to Bandar Utama in Petaling Jaya, is expected to benefit over 2 million residents.
The remand on the suspect in the kidnapping of 6-year-old Albertin Leo has been extended for another 6 days. The Magistrates Court ordered the remand period of the 31-year-old male from tomorrow until this Sunday. The suspect is being investigated under Section 265 of the Penal Code and Section 14A of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017. Albertin was reported missing on July 20th after separating from her family in Iskandar Putri, Johor Bahru. Following her disappearance, police arrested 4 suspects aged 28 to 55 before they were released on police bail last Friday. The child was found safe in a budget hotel with the suspect in Batangkali, Selangor on July 23rd. We will be back with more after the break.
Daulat Tuanku.
Welcome back. There has been a rise in late-stage cancer detection in Malaysia, according to a recent report by the Malaysia National Cancer Registry. Colorectal surgeon from UiTM, Dr. Siti Mayuha Rusli, says this is due to lack of awareness on early-stage screening.
According to the newly released Malaysia National Cancer Registry report 2017 to 2021, Malaysia has reported a rise in late-stage cancer detection. The proportion of cancers identified at stages 3 and 4 has increased to 65.1% from 63.7% in the previous 2012 to 2016 period.
From the data, basically, you can see that the number of stage 3 and 4, when we talk about late stage, it's stage 3 and 4, you can see that it has increased throughout the years as well as compared to the one in 2012 to 2016. So I think this goes back to, again, the lack of awareness of the disease, because when we talk about early stages in stage 1 and 2, this can be mostly detected during screening. Majority of patients with stage 2 and stage 1 and 2 diseases, they typically do not present with major symptoms. So the proportion of screening is not high, which reflects the incidence of cancers in late stages being detected.
Dr. Mayuha urged for more awareness on the importance of screening in preventing or treating early cancers.
Based on the registry report, the one that has been improved in terms of incidence is cervical cancer. And this is because there is improved screening and improved in HPV vaccination. So when I talk about the kind of cancers that I treat in colorectal cancer, the screening method that we use in our country is still via fecal occult blood test. And this screening test is provided in most of the hospitals in Malaysia. However, if the take-up is low, then the percentage of patients detected will be low, which is why more and more population needs to be educated on the benefit of screening. Because when we talk about cancer, we do not want to only be able to treat cancer. We want to be able to prevent cancer from happening. And in terms of colorectal cancer, this can be prevented by the detection of colorectal polyps. That can be detected via screening from the FOBT test. And this subsequently is being followed up by colonoscopy, where we can treat and detect all the early cancers happening in our population. If we can work together and improve the implementation of screening, this could really help in us treating the late stages of cancer, which we can see that if you are diagnosed with late stages of cancer, the survival is relatively lower than those with stage 1 and 2 cancers. So what we want is actually to improve screening, to improve cancer detection, and to improve cancer prevention rather than detecting it late.
On to international news. A far-left activist has been arrested in connection with last week's sabotage of France's rail network. It is the first publicly announced arrest since Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin revealed that far-left are suspected to be behind the attack, which took place just before the opening ceremony of the Paris 2024 Olympics.
According to him, the perpetrator's modus operandi bore the hallmark of far-left extremists who have a history of targeting train networks with arson attacks. He said the attacks were deliberate, precise and well-targeted. Saboteurs struck France's high-speed train network on Friday with pre-dawn attacks on signal substations and cables, causing travel chaos hours before the Olympics kicked off. The country's transport ministry said some 800,000 people faced travel disruptions over the weekend due to the attacks, including 100,000 whose trains were cancelled outright. However, all trains were back up and running by Monday morning.
Paris Olympics organizers cancelled the triathlon swimming training session for the second day in a row today after recent heavy rain affected water quality levels in River Seine. Sunday's training session was also cancelled after tests carried out in the river showed water quality did not meet the required threshold. In a statement, the organizers said that they were confident water quality would improve enough before the triathlon competition is due to start on July 30th, Tuesday. The running and bike training sessions remain unaffected. The River Seine was declared clean enough for swimming in tests from mid-July, but doubts remained as to whether the waters will be fit for competition. In the event of heavy rain, untreated sewage can be washed into the river. If the quality is below standards, a plan B involves postponing the events for a few days or moving the marathon swimming to the Marne River east of Paris. Palestinians are fleeing the Bureij and Nsantara refugee camps in the central Gaza Strip after the Israeli army issued new evacuation orders. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees said 86% of the Gaza Strip is currently under such orders. Majority of the displaced population is flowing to the Deir el-Balah city, already packed with people and with no sufficient space or resources. Tanks also pushed deeper into Gaza's two main southern cities, Rafah and Khan Yunis. At least 66 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks in the past 24 hours. Separately, Israel's Security Cabinet has authorized Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant to determine a response to the deadly rocket attack in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights on Saturday. Israel blames Lebanon's Hezbollah for the attack that killed 12 people, mostly children. Indonesian President Joko Widodo officially began working from Nsantara, the country's future capital in East Kalimantan province, today. The first in the president's agenda was a meeting with executives of the Nsantara Authority. The president started receiving guests and holding meetings at the presidential office in Nsantara on Monday morning. It is expected that he will spend 3 days a week in Nsantara. Over 80% of the infrastructure work for the first phase of the $32 billion capital city project has been completed. Jokowi plans to commemorate Indonesia's Independence Day on August 17th in Nsantara with the official inauguration of the new capital. That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching. Good night.